Here we are again with Rory in Dublin. How are you today, Rory? What's going on?
I'm wonderful, Avri. How are you? I hope everything is great. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to make a quick video, a very short video, just to keep you up to date on what I'm doing. This morning I went in and did voiceover for the first episode of the new series of Gogglebox, which is broadcast tonight on Virgin Media One at 9 p.m. Now it's called Virgin Media One now. It used to be TV3, but it's Virgin Media One. So hopefully you can get to see that. It's very, very funny. Some of it's a bit sad, but most of it's very, very funny. And some of the old families, most of the old families are back, and then there's a new family being introduced this week as well. So it's absolutely brilliant. And then I'm just dashing out the door now on my way to RTE Radio to talk to Ray D'Arcy at 4 o'clock. The Ray D'Arcy show. I'll be talking all things Gogglebox Ireland and Olympia Panto. I'll be starting in Aladdin at Christmas time in the Olympia Panto, and I'll be talking about that. And God knows what else I'll be talking about to Ray, because he asks loads of different questions and he catches you. Like you can't get comfortable with him. I love doing interviews on that show. What else have I got? Well, they're the things that I'm doing today. What happened in the last week? The last week television was great, wasn't it? When I think back, there was the stuff on, there was all the palaver about loose women, and then that was the bullying issue there, and then there was the huge thing about the Celebrity Big Brother. I know we're all glued to that. Over the thing with Roxanne and Ryan. Roxanne, everybody knows, basically accused Ryan in the wrong of domestic abuse. She said he punished her, and I don't know how she came to that conclusion that she could get away with that, because everybody could see. There's cameras everywhere in that house. It's worse than here. Here there's only 2 that Avri owns, but everywhere else in that house there's cameras everywhere. And if she wanted to see what domestic abuse or what a punch was, if she wanted to know what the definition of a punch was, she should have went to a school over here and taught by the Christian Brothers or the nuns or something like that, back in the 60s and 70s. Then she'd know what a punch was. But what really disturbed me about the whole thing on that was the reaction on social media, and people were condemning her, but they were also advising that she go and get help. She needs to seek psychiatric treatment or for her mental health issues. And that bothered the hell out of me, because what happened to her was not what you could call a mental health issue. And it shouldn't be stigmatised. That mental health shouldn't have that stigma that one of the ways it manifests itself is that you engage in domestic abuse and you deliberately tell lies about domestic abuse. That really, I know people with mental health issues, and they're the kindest, most gentle people you could meet. They just have some issues that floors them, and it takes them a while to get over it, and they're doing their best to control it. It keeps coming back. It never gets better, but they don't. The way their issues do not manifest themselves as I will make up lies and about people and accuse them of beating me up, or lies about them about anything. That is not what mental health is, and it really bothers the hell out of me when I see so many people on social media saying, "Oh, she needs to get help for a mental health issue." She connived, and what she did was conniving, and what she did was calculated, and she just thought that this is a way of furthering herself in a competition. She get one of the contestants out, and she goes on for another week. I think, and that's the thing about Gogglebox. That's what's fabulous about Gogglebox Ireland and Gogglebox the UK and Gogglebox wherever it's on. Gogglebox Ireland is not. It's a lovely show. It's a nice show to work on, and it's a lovely show to watch, because there's no dirty tricks. There's nobody conniving to get somebody thrown off a show. There's nobody reacting in a certain way so they will stay in, and there's no bullying. There's nothing like that. It's just a lovely show, and it's a fantastic show to work on. Completely different to Celebrity Big Brother, what we've seen going on there. And then the loose women, the bullying thing between Colleen and, I can't think of the woman's name. You know who I'm talking about anyway. I don't know what to make out of that at all, because I saw Colleen Nolan on television yesterday morning and she was in bits, God love her. She was in an awful state. I think what happened there, things just blew up out of all proportion. The two of them were not friends anyway, going back again to Celebrity Big Brother, I think. But they weren't friends for a long time. And that's okay. You can't, there's no laws that says you have to be friends with everybody, or you have to like everybody, or everybody has to like you. There's no laws against any of that. So they don't get on, but they were on the same show together, and I think one word led to another, and it ended up with a group of women just shouting at each other. And if ever you grew up in... I've seen loads of women fighting over the years in Dublin, like shouting out on the streets. I don't mean but they'd fight out on the streets and they'd roar and laugh, or they'd scream and shout. And it's great to watch, but a few minutes later they're having a cup of tea and it's just like an explosion or something. They want to get something off their chest, and in the heat of the moment they say things they shouldn't have said, and I think that's probably what happened in Loose Women. I don't actually think it was bullying as what the accusations are out there. I genuinely don't, though I do think I wouldn't talk to a 76-year-old woman like that. I wouldn't dismiss what she had gone through. Apparently she had a horrible childhood with abuse. So I'd be very careful how I would, but I wouldn't. I would hate to see myself getting into that situation where I would lose control, and where both people would say one thing, say things that they shouldn't say, and then they can't take them back, because once something is said, it's done. There's certain things you can't unsay, and I think a lot of that happened on Loose Women. But I'm sure that'll all blow over, because that wasn't as bad as Celebrity Big Brother, which I thought was... The accusation was disgusting. It could have ruined that boy's life. That boy, he's probably in his 30s, but I'm nearly 60, so that's all right. I can say boy. That lad, Ryan, she could have ruined his life. For what? Just to get on further in its competition on television. It's the idea to come into your head to think, I will do that. I don't understand people who can do that. There's being competitive and there's being competitive. That doesn't come into it. That's just badness. What happened there was badness, and it was calculated badness. So that's basically all I have to say. I'm going to have to dash off now. Oh, what else was it? The Pope came. I forgot about that. I didn't go and see him.
You were out campaigning, weren't you?
No, I went to see him last time. The last Pope that was here in Ireland, that was 2 popes ago, John Paul II. He came and I went to see him along with a million other people in the Phoenix Park. And I knew he was going to be coming around in his Pope mobile and we'd all get a good look at him. And I was expecting, I was only 17 or 18 at the time, but I was expecting I was going to feel something, have a religious experience, or I was going to feel in a state of grace when this holy man was going by. So he came by in his Pope mobile and I looked up and I thought, that could be anyone's granddad. He's just an average looking old man. And he just looked like somebody's granddad. I didn't feel anything. I wasn't in a state of grace. I didn't get a religious experience, or there was nothing that, and I thought, that was a whole day now, just waiting to see that. And it didn't impress me. As the song goes, that don't impress me much. It didn't impress me an awful lot. So I didn't go and see this Pope, because I thought, well, it's just going to be more of the same. And also, I hadn't been to Mass, or I haven't been to church in donkey's years. I would have felt like a bit of a hypocrite going. But I haven't been. I mean, I think the last time I was in church, I tripped at the baptismal font and grabbed onto the priest's surplice. But I haven't been to a church, so I thought, well, I'm not going. And I knew that the weather wasn't going to be great. But anyway, I didn't go. What I did instead, when he was saying his Mass at the Phoenix Park, there was a gathering in Parnell Square that was organised by Colm O'Gorman. And Colm O'Gorman, for any of you who don't know him, he's the head of Amnesty here in Ireland. And while I don't agree with him with a lot of stuff on amnesty, I do agree with him on this. He was abused when he was a child. When he was 13, he was raped by a priest. And he's still trying to get the church to admit what happened and to hand over files that they have for everybody that was abused, and not to be trying to hide all the evidence in the Vatican. And so Colin, I really admire him for what he did on that. So I went to a meeting that he had in Parnell Square at the same time that the Pope was saying his Mass in Dublin, and there was a huge crowd there. It was fantastic. It was wonderful. And I was just there. I have to say, I was never abused in school. One time a Christian brother punched me, but that was just one thing. I was never, ever abused. I always found that when it came to corporal punishment, it was the lay teachers. And I was taught by Christian brothers, Maris brothers, Jesuit priests. I was taught by them all, and they were fine with me. But for thousands of other people, they weren't fine. For thousands of other people, it was terrible what they did and what the church has tried to cover up. So that's why I didn't go and see the Pope. I went to the other one. That's an awful thing to be ending on, isn't it? Talking about child abuse. But anyway, this is what's been going on. Hozier was at that show meeting that I went to in Parnell Square, and must have been 5,000-10,000 people at it. But Hozier was there and he was performing, and he was fantastic. I went to see him the night before last in Dublin. He had a secret gig, and I was lucky enough to be able to go. My good friend Caroline Downey is Hozier's manager, and she invited me to go and see him. So I went, and his new album is coming out on Friday, and the new songs that he played were unbelievable. They are fantastic. I'll be the first one in line to buy this album when it comes out on Friday. It really is very good. And it was great to see him in such a small venue. It was the Academy in Dublin, and there was only a few hundred people there. So wherever you were close to the stage, and to hear all the new songs for the first time, it was fantastic. And my nephew, of course, Owen Hillary, he works in the Academy, and he didn't know I was going in, and I just checked to see if he was there, and there he was behind the bar. So I was delighted to see him, and he was delighted to see me. And so it's been a good week, and it's been an eventful few weeks with the Pope, and then with the Loose Women, the Lava, and the Celebrity Big Brother. And television has been great over the last few weeks, hasn't it? It's been fantastic. We all love a good scandal. Anyway, that's it. I have to dash off to do the Ray Darcy show at 4 p.m. Listen in if you can. It's on RTE Radio 1. That's it. Thanks very much. Talk to you soon. All the best. Bye-bye.